Howdy, 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 folks. It would seem to me that we have yet another race of the Medusa pod here on SpeedGaming 3, just picking up right where we left off last night. My name's Woat, and joining me in the booth tonight, we have Fiend of Pub Session, or just Fiend, because no one wants to say that name.
Indeed. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing splendidly. This is probably the earliest race I've called all year, but somehow it's the second PapaFoiz race I've called this week. So
maybe that's intentional on your part.
not in the slightest. It's just that I figured like going early would be nice for a change of pace. But just like last night, Papa going with the fighter red mage strat and his opponent going with a black belt Oreo. I like it. So for this seed, we have fighters able to wield katanas and red mages able to wield defense swords. Black belts have a strength buff, which only helps them if you throw a weapon on them. White mages have a plus 15 to their vitality, and black mages actually have health. But how are you doing tonight, Fiend?
Doing good. I'm with you. This is the first race I've commentated this early ever, so it'll be nice to go. Hopefully, of course, with two-man strats, you never know how long this will go.
Okay, I'm just going to point out that technically, this was either going to be the earliest or the latest race you ever called.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. It could run long with these parties. We never know.
The minus 15 won't matter. Like, wildham's probably going to start that timer when the countdown on racetime.gg started 10 minutes ago. So, don't worry about that triple factorial. But yeah, so, I don't know how much experience you actually have, like, watching Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer or any of that, how familiar you are with the use of the two-man strat or anything like that, Fiend. So feel free to fill me in a little bit.
As far as my experience, I'll just commentate on what I see as I go, rather than try to let you know all the stuff I've run.
All right, but yeah, so just for those who've never joined us for one of these before, what you're basically going to see is a battle between sort of being
Life 2 at level 1 light.
Yeah, Life 2 and Ruse, Warp and Quake, and Confusion. And Invis 2. Okay. Okay.
No sweepers, but, I mean, we got confused, so...
Yeah, well, okay. You have Quake, that's going to sweep most things in the early game.
Was Quake learnable?
Well, yeah, all black magic's going to be learnable.
Okay.
So, okay, here's an early question for you. With that white mage, you take Invis 2 over Ruse.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah, with a 4-man party, I would. Now, with a 2-man party, if for whatever reason I had a 2-man party with a white mage, I might take Ruse. You cut there for a second, so you might have to repeat what you just said.
I didn't say anything. I started to say something and then stopped short. I do that sometimes. But yeah, so the kind of the difference in these two parties, as I was going to say, Wildham is basically taking the approach of, I'm not going to count on finding gear, or on that gear that I find being good. I'm going to rely on magic, and then I'm going to rely on my black belt to punch everything in the face until it dies. It being the enemy, not the black belt, which...
Yeah, the black belt just did die on Wildham's side, so...
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, we need that early experience on the mages anyway.
Yeah, so...
do you like that one? Do you ever get those seeds? Floater? King Floater?
I'm never, ever that lucky. Also, you know, I'm me. if I had a seed like that, I probably turned off like 3 other convenient options. So these flags that we're using for this phase of the tournament do offer a free canoe. So they can turn that floater in and be airborne in the next, like, 3 minutes. And I would be surprised if either runner doesn't opt to go immediately to get that airship. Like, okay, I'll take that back. Wild, it looks like, is going to go ahead and hit Provoca and Crescent up as he is walking his way over.
Well, without the ship, they have to either walk right or left. I would take the right path and check level 2 magic myself on the way down.
I could see Papa potentially making that play, but he's also going to go for the check the 2 shops on the way.
If you go marsh when you have floater, I'm sorry, but you deserve to not win.
Okay, I wasn't saying going and doing marsh, just going down and just making that beeline, because I feel like taking the left-hand path overland is slightly faster just because you're getting into less difficult fights.
Yeah, did we see if they have a hero run off the start? I missed it myself.
I think there might be a couple of good hero runs early on. Nothing like super long, but good enough to where, you know, you can encounter manipulate relatively easily.
I didn't see any camping gear though at Corneria, so they're without a way to manipulate currently, unless they find some here at Provoca.
Heal 2 and wall for level 2 white, and there's your sweeper.
Those are some expensive houses. 3,200 for houses. They did pick up some cabins though, so they will be able to encounter manipulate a little bit.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much in the way of shop gear yet with decent stats on them. We do have our weapon and armor blursing on tonight. That being a flag that basically says, you know, Final Fantasy I is basically just an unlicensed AD&D game. Why don't we just treat it like D&D? Let weapons and armor have pluses and minuses. So, as a consequence of that, one of our flags is what we lovingly call weapon and armor blursing. Well, 2 of our flags. I believe weapons go from +5 to -5, and armor is what, +3 to -3 to +4?
I believe so. I've already closed out the. I don't remember off the top of my head what it's capped at. So.
Yeah. Let me see. I actually think I do have it pulled up, and right now Papa is shopping, and Wildham is tackling the river, which is being polite for once.
They have pro rings early, so that's nice for Papa, especially get that elemental defense on his red mage.
-3 +4 on the armor, -5 to +5 on weapons.
So you called it earlier off stream. -5 katana is what we're gonna see since fighter can wield katana, right?
That's how it always goes. You have the possibility to have the dream where the fighter is just an unholy machine of destruction with that katana equipable, and that katana is just not your friend. So, tail for 15k in Crescent, that's going to be nice for Papa to see.
Yeah, Wildham was in the air at 5 minutes 55 seconds. That might I don't know if that's a record or not, but that is certainly a very, very quick air time.
I have seen seeds that got in the air faster than that, believe it or not. But we do immediately get a ship. Thanks, Sages. That's great.
Next item will be Canal, TNT to Canal, vanilla.
Well, I mean, at least the ship gives you an extra +5 on your XP and gold gain, or +5% on XP and gold gain.
Got Wildham doing the Sarda check for the incentive item, so we'll see what that is shortly.
Or as I lovingly call it, the thing I always forget to do after I get the airship.
And
every
it's a
time.
thing you need. Not for a very long time, but it is a thing you need. One less item to be in go mode.
Mhm. Noted thief specialist Will Bloodworth in chat complaining that the fighter gets to use a katana. Or as he put it, the trash class touching his precious katana. Will
You
Bloodworth.
mean Vorpal and a half. It's not a thief weapon, it's just a Vorpal and a half.
Okay, look. I'm just gonna make this clear. I am a katana fan. I always bring a thief because one of my significant others is really fond of thieves in all games, and so I bring a thief along for her. But so I love the katana. The katana is very good. Please don't besmirch it by comparing it to the Vorpal.
I have yet to have a chaos kill with the katana. I know it's possible, and it's a good strat if you can do it. Hopefully, we'll see one tonight, and we won't see like a +5 Masa just out of the gate. But you never know. The way these flags are going, that's what I expect to see next.
I mean, so here's the +3 chain armor. I don't think we've seen that until now, or we did see it, but whatever. It's +3 chain armor. Wildham can't use it, but Papa can.
Papa's got his fighter pretty armored up already, so he's in a fairly good position if he finds a grind. And with that airship, shouldn't be too long before he finds one.
Yeah, so both of these runners are going to be looking for grinds, but they're going to be very... lazy dwarves. Both of these grinds are going to be very different in terms of what they're looking for. Wildham is going to be looking for a grind that involves a relatively weak single or double enemy encounter. Papa has a little more leeway because he is going to be looking to level that red mage, but he is going to be looking for a decent experience grind that is close to the entrance of whatever dungeon it's in. Or outside, if, say, we have something that's high experience on the map.
He does have warp, so he does have a few more options on the table if he wants to warp out.
He does, but I think with the grind, you also have to account for time to get to it, not just the time to leave.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he just checked, I believe that was Volcano. One of the grind tiles in there didn't look good for him, so he immediately left.
Yeah. Yeah, Gurpedes are not nearly as good as regular Peds. They're generally sturdier, and also they're just not as delicious for how sturdy they are. So, Papa going ahead and making his shopping checks. So let's see, we don't really have much in the way of good dungeon access, and I missed that Zeus Gauntlet.
Yeah, it's a Rune Sword +3, which you could technically beat the game with enough tempers and fast. Not a good option, but it is an option.
Okay, with enough tempers and fast is that usually doesn't translate to the quality of a weapon. That being said, that Rune +3, that'll carry you up to Topher. You don't want it to carry you up to Topher. You'd like to find a better weapon, but it can.
+3, it's on par with the Sunsword? Just regular Sunsword?
I think it's a little less than that. I'd say it's probably on par with, say, an Ice Sword at +3. An Ice Sword, maybe somewhere between. I think a +3 Rune Sword is between the Flame Sword and the Ice Sword vanilla in terms of just raw stats. But the things it targets are generally much better for what you are hitting. To answer the question, chat, we saw detail at the vendor item in Crescent Lake for, I believe, 15k? So, I think Papa, if he hasn't already picked it up, is definitely looking for money to go collect that ASAP. Yeah, he's got it. So yeah, he will be class changing at his earliest convenience. So
both runners making the raid of the Cardia Isles.
yeah. Well, Wildham, I think, is just looking for things that he doesn't want that he can sell for magic money. Because that is the one problem with the multi-mage strat is you are hard up for cash for the first while in the seed. Yeah. Even at -1, that Aegis Shield is going to be nice. Just to keep to take that knight getting stoned off the table.
Yeah, no ribbon finds yet, so...
Yeah.
Do you leave the Aegis Shield on if you happen to find an Opal +5 or something like that probably until you at least have a ribbon, right?
I'd say it's a tough call. It depends on how hard I'm getting hit by things. But, I mean, with that white shirt already in hand, there's a lot less incentive to necessarily beef up your absorb. Anything that shield is going to swing the damage on, a couple of stacks off that white shirt will also help you mitigate.
Question in chat about the blursings. We have Fighter with Katana, Red Mage is plus defense, Black Belt is plus 20 strength, White Mage is plus 15 vitality, and Black Mage started with plus 80 HP.
Yeah, so only rub available for the Red Mage in Gaia. Not worth it for that 7th level slot. But we do have Fade at level 3. I don't know if Papa checked these shops.
If he checked them, I missed it, because that is definitely... It's a lot of good spells at the same level, though. That's so you like to see it and you don't like to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, the magic in this seed is definitely favoring Wild right now, simply because with having dedicated casters and more than one, that kind of plays in his favor. Now, Papa at least is going to be able to benefit from the wealth of white magic we have at our disposal, thanks to having that knight early. But Wild definitely, I think, getting some help.
Neither runner checking the desert tile yet, so I'm guessing the run table must have been a little bit too long for that to be an option.
Yeah, that's... Again, I haven't been paying that much attention, but that's the sense I'm getting. Papa running into one of the Lefayans who you can't just guillotine away. If we're getting an item that gives access to the second half of Sky from Lefayn, is that technically French vanilla?
I would think so. I mean, was Chime instead of, or Cube instead of Chime?
Yeah.
Seems like French vanilla to me.
I'm not sure what the rules on the nomenclature are, but man, is it weird to look over and see the black mages with more health than everyone else. I'm just going to throw that one out there.
Yeah, that plus 80 starting health will keep them healthy for a while.
I mean, honestly, like, they'll probably stay ahead of the white mage almost the entire seed. Just because that plus 15 vit's nice, but it's not going to, like... I mean, it might. I actually don't remember the HP growth algorithms off the top of my head.
If you did, that'd be amazing. I'm sure there's someone out there that has all that math in their head, but...
I'm sure there is, but there's also the convenient solution of, hey, chat, since I know one of you has Astral Esper's algorithms guide pulled up, or at least bookmarked, who wants to go figure out at what point the white mage is likely to overtake the black mages for health? I won't give you anything if you do it, but I'm live on Twitch, so I'm not allowed to do math.
You are, you're just gonna be wrong every single time.
And
Even when you're right, you're still wrong.
yeah, Phoenix FF immediately just busting out the level 18. Is that with the plus 15 vit? Or is that vanilla? But I mean, either way, it's still weird to see a white mage not. Okay, Phoenix FF is a dirty liar who just randomly picked a level. I trusted you!
You trusted chat. You're no longer a commentator.
Okay. Chat is almost always smarter than me. I am simply deferring to my betters. Anyway, we have a key and ordeals.
Straight back to Corneria, or do you keep on looking around before you go back?
We don't have Oxyel, so there's no reason to go over to OnRack. I'd say this is a situation where you go ahead and check Corneria.
Will he survive?
Mad ponies with zap?
Oh man, you hate to see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals, take a good look. This is possibly one of the only times that mad ponies are the problem.
And I would have done the same thing. He's still looking for a grind tile. It was right there. You have free exit without having to. Well, you have to exit out of that way either way, since he doesn't have exit. You're not going to warp out of this dungeon. So.
Yeah, I think that's a situation where if you had accidentally hit the return to start pillar at the right before the exit, maybe you could have warped out. And honestly, with the black mages he has, Wild almost could probably warp out. He's not, but he almost could.
With this one, since he knew the path, I would say I'm not sure how many times that he had to warp, or if he even had to warp. I didn't catch it the first time. You still can potentially soft lock this dungeon, correct?
No, they fixed that.
Oh, they did fix this. Okay.
Yeah, there used to be a bug for the phone where... So, basically the way that warp works is every time you pass through, one of these pillars, it pops, essentially, a warp location onto a stack that's about 32 entries deep. And it used to be that there was a bug where if you let the stack get too high before leaving the dungeon, it would soft lock your game. I believe a couple of years ago that got fixed so that the game just doesn't keep trying to add to the stack when the stack is full. But yeah.
Wildham did make it past. He didn't get ambushed this time. He did run to 4, so it was still dicey, but he did make it out. Yeah,
well, having the 2 black mages is very handy here for things like that. Having 2 chances to get that good run. But you were saying?
Did Papa have the knowledge of the Mad Ponies, or is this his first time? Oh,
this is his first time, and
he has the knowledge now, and same luck with that ambush. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but he'll also. The good news is neither runner loses time because of those Mad Ponies. Both of them had to go through that. So that helps a lot. And Papa is now dragging around a red mage, but unlike last night, remembered to bring softs.
And Wildham Chicken Corneria gets blessed with 55,000 gold and a Yoxie Ale.
Ooh, Papa's going to be happy to see that opal bracelet, I think. Or opal gauntlet. I think he still has a pro ring -3 on that knight at the moment, but once he finds a ribbon, if he finds a ribbon, that opal gauntlet's going to be real nice for that knight's defense.
We have Wildham checking a locked Temple of Fiends, finds, and he found a potential grind with the sandworms there. Ooh, so that is a bold play, and a play that might have worked out very well for him.
Yeah. So that... Yeah, if you're getting 1,000 XP off of a relatively... And he finds another opal gauntlet!
And... You know, chat tried to call it. I refrained from calling it. He immediately leaves. Now he might come back there.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think for now he wants the exploration more than the grind. He also may be thinking in terms of having... yeah, he's grabbing houses. He's gonna rest up. I don't know if this is him signaling he's going to go back and just murder sandworms for a while, or if he's going to marsh. And apparently the Mad Ponies had nuke!
Now, marsh play when you have Oxyale. Is that something that you would do, or do you think you would check Waterfall and Sea Shrine?
With this spell list, I like going to do marsh first. It's a chance to possibly find, like, another caster item to kind of help spread your AoE out a little bit more. Because I think we're still mostly just sitting on fire spells for our magic. Yeah, our sweepers are basically fire spells and quake. And yeah, we have Fade.
Will Cleos is putting in chat, there's a high chance of this being Canal. It could also be an ice, if I recall. We haven't seen it. Yeah. Or the item that leads to it, as Nightmare Phoenix points out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things, like, I would be inclined to do ice over marsh, given the situation. And as it turns out, marsh had the canal.
At least he didn't dive very deep for it. It was right up there on the top. He can make a quick play over here to ice and find out what that is.
Yeah. I mean, I see the logic, though, of him checking marsh first. Because it is, even if he had to go down to the 3rd floor, that is still a faster check than ice in general. And a safer check. So I don't hate the let's see what's in marsh and if it's important. With the warps available, I might have been tempted to just go ahead and warp that canal out, just to get that little extra oomph for when I do get to my grind.
I believe he did warp out and save.
No, he reset.
Did he?
Yeah, he reset.
Do you think this is a play on the other runner, perhaps? He's thinking that with the airship that he's not likely to check these locations, and if he happens upon, let's say, the rod here, it could be last location. You end up going through air, going through sea without having to check boxes.
I can see it. Wildham was the tracker for PapaFoiz's race last night, so he did get a chance to see how Papa routed that seed last night. So this could be him thinking, Papa likes to hit the Fiend dungeons up while looking for stuff, if he has the ability to. So I can go ahead and do this, count on maybe Papa following the Oxyale instead. Because Wild probably is assuming PapaFoiz went with the 2-man strat again.
Hoping for good luck here. Did not kill all the Mad Ponies, so he has 2 rounds. He survived the first round. Oh, wow!
Wow!
We have cracked into nukes, everybody.
That is some good luck right there for PapaFoiz, and he is clear with his key in hand.
He is happy to make it through that, especially with that skill, with nuke coming out as the second.
Yeah, the luck on the zap followed immediately by saving against that nuke. Yeah, Papa is very happy with that outcome, and he will take that W. So, I don't think Papa is going to go back to Dwarven Treasury, though that is an option he has available now. He is definitely going to pop up in Canaria. He might check Fiends, but we'll see. He's not going to bother checking the Elfland Treasury until he has that herb. But he has a little more incentive than Wildham to peek his head into Dwarven Treasury. He knows there are 2 katanas out there. And he knows... Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, ice with bottle. I don't think either of us caught it, but the tracker did.
No, I did see it. It's bottle. It might lead to something, but it's not going to matter what it leads to until Wildham actually releases the ferry and goes to look. But, I mean, it is here, so...
He is making the play up to check this. Again, I'm guessing, hoping that it's probably rod or another... Although he wouldn't mind the power bonk. It is the crown, so it could be the rod still yet.
Well, Wild is going to be happy about that, because that gives him a reason to go check northwest. You've got those two you've got those two spike tiles in Northwest Castle, and another key item check, and those 3 chests that might have something nice. PapaFoiz back in Elfland, looking, I guess, to go ahead and fill out his spell book. Oh, he hasn't been here yet, that's right.
Thanks to our DVS, our tracker's notes, we know Temper's at level 5, so that you're gonna have charges of it, but might still want the power bonk for safety, just in case that red mage gets slapped down, especially on PapaFoiz's side.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like we've seen Fast yet.
It doesn't look it, which may have Papa crossing his toes that there is a katana that's actually useful in this seed that's in his path.
Looking at the tracker's notes again, it looks like Fast has to be at level 7 or level 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too, so... Alright, he is going to go ahead and hit Elfland, even though he doesn't have the herb yet.
I mean, you have the airship, you're kind of on the way. It's you gotta go out of the way to get to the treasury anyway, so I could see that if he's still looking for maybe a lucky massa or something.
Alright, we have Sky Cave access. Also, for the folks who are watching this on YouTube later, or possibly in VOD format, you are missing out on the chat, making a lot of awful, awful spell puns.
I was choosing to ignore them.
I mean, it's hard to miss. It's just written there in black and white.
Papa choosing to go to Marsh, so maybe this is a play against the play. He, like, I'm not familiar with the runner, but you said Papa likes to check Fiend Dungeon, so maybe he's rotating his strategy to play against his own strategy. Some metagaming going on.
I think so. Last night, Papa favored the Fiend Dungeons because access was relatively easy. Here, all we really have is an Oxyale that, like I said, we really don't have the spells to take full advantage of yet. Like, we've got that Zeus Gauntlet, but Lit 2 alone is not going to get you through Sea Shrine.
Neither runner checking Mirage Tower Air, despite they had the chime. What was the chime? It's fairly early, I want to say.
No, the cube we got from Lefane. The chime we just got from Astos.
So got it.
Yeah, so Papa's gonna have to dig the bottle out, go get the crown, then go kill Astos to get the chime. But yeah, we do now have access to both of our incentive Fiend dungeons. So we've got a lot of tools at our disposal, just a matter of how you route it. Which... I'm just sitting here thinking, like... It is a hard call, because the spells are not nearly as favorable for diving either of those dungeons at the moment. Sky a little bit better because you do have enemies that have that vulnerability to fire in the mix. And I do not believe they forced War Mech.
There were no changes that I'm aware of when I was in the race room.
Excuse me. So, yeah, I could see wildham making that Sky play. Because he's got the firepower. He's got a good amount of firepower. Between the black mages and the white mage, the black belt's not quite there yet to be able to like punch out damage. Ooh, Papa making a cheeky play to see what is on that eye tile, and gonna peep the mage tile too. So PapaFoiz keeping his eyes peeled for a grind. Like I said, I don't think he's likely going to check Temple of Fiends anytime soon, just because he does, I believe, tend to prefer doing things that are in his path to begin with.
Is he a walk and grind kind of person?
Now he'll do he doesn't mind doing the static grind, but it's one of those things where with the two-man strat, part of what you are banking on is getting to do things faster than your opponent. You have to take less actions in combat, you have to gain less experience, your characters are hitting harder because they have higher levels. Everything about the two-man strat is about doing things in as efficient an order as possible. So, with the two-man strat, if you're going out of your way for something, it's almost like you are wasting the tactic you have already committed to.
And Wildham did take a wipe there in Waterfall, but he's almost back to where he was.
Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of the disadvantage of that Black Belt Oreo. Oh, hey, out of bounds bat. Bless the out of bounds bat. But yeah, so the thing about the Black Belt Oreo is that Black Belt is going to be immensely powerful once he's online. Wildham is still about 7 or 8 levels off from the Black Belt kind of hitting the point of, alright, now I am the equivalent of a heavily armored man swinging a magical sword. And about 10 levels beyond that is when the Black Belt hits the point of, so anyway, I am now become Death, Destroyer of Worlds.
And that is the item that he wanted to see there. Definitely. That could have easily been a lot of other things, but it is, I believe that's go mode for him, is it not?
Yes, that puts him in go mode, technically. So the way I like to put it with Final Fantasy I Randomizer, hey, there's our nuke!
So we have nuke at level 7 and fast at level 8, more than likely.
I think it's at level 8. We've seen both the black magic shops at 7. So, Papa will not have fast available in this seed, and Wild will only have fast available if he is willing to grind those black mages. But you know, what I was saying is, so Wild needs to get that black belt up to the point where he's at least, you know, able to go toe-to-toe with most enemies and be fine. So for folks who are unfamiliar, just real quick, the black belt has special rules for how his stats increase. Basically, his attack and defense increase relative to his level if he is otherwise unequipped. So, a level 22 black belt has an absorb of 22, and an attack power relative to his level. Don't worry too much about the exact numbers. All you need to know is high level good for black belt.
High level naked.
Yeah. Yeah, you want your black belt to be naked and to be of a high level. And those two things together make a black belt strong. Wildham does not have the levels on the black belt yet, and that's why he's kind of seeing a lot of, oh, okay.
That's an interesting tile, especially for him if these are low health or, you know, this could be the grind that he decides to take rather than those sandworms.
Yeah. These Agama are pretty hardy. I don't know. I don't remember the magic defense on Agama off the top of my head. But, looks like they had maybe 250 health. Does that line up with what you were seeing, Fiend?
I saw at least a 176 fade and followed by at least another 100. So yeah, they're up there.
Yeah.
They're not too high, but they're not getting one shot by anything but maybe nuke.
Yeah. Now, if I didn't see how hard they were hitting, but Wildham might come back for that when like his black belt's got a little more experience, because if that red giant wasn't hitting too hard and doesn't have too much health, you might be able to kind of punch your way up with that tile if you're doing a solo black belt or something.
Yeah, we never saw really the red giant, what if he had any skills or anything. He went down to Quake, just like he did there, so he might still have something nasty on board, but if he targets him first with the black belt, I could see that. Do you think this is a what level do you think he'll take the black belt to? 42, or do you think he'll go for the 30s?
I can see 30s, but Mandalorian ZZ in chat saying that whoever can pun Tiamat gets the crown. I think that's just Tiamuch.
I'll leave that up to chat as far as the puns go. They have more time on their hands to do things like that.
But, I mean, making puns is... I'm here. But anyway. So Papa makes it to the robot room, just has to get past these wizards, which I don't think have anything rude aside from fists. Gets his rods. Gonna pop these 6 chests open, I presume. And, there we go.
Now, I wonder if he'll make the Sea Shrine play, or if he'll also just leave out.
Well, he's definitely moving. Well, he hasn't gotten to the point where he can use the river to skip a couple of fights.
Looks like he's going for it, or at least resupplying it. But I can't imagine he'd make this trip over here unless he were planning on going to sea.
He might also be wanting to just see what the level 7 magic is here in On-Rack. That red wizard can cast that first slot in white magic here. But he may be forgetting that. Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to see the things he'll never have.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. Red Wizard is annoying sometimes to remember what all they can learn. So...
Yeah, I definitely would not know that off the top of my head either.
Papa, I think, is going to make a play for Mermaid's side first. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Not, especially since he's still looking for a good sword to swing. I could see him opening the chest down there even if he does find the incentive item.
That's true. He's still swinging that rune +3. We haven't seen anything better, have we?
I don't believe so. What the Thor hammer is what, like -1 or something? So I think it's worse than the rune sword.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a +3 rune sword even would be the vanilla Thor hammer in terms of the merits of swinging it.
And that's a nasty party for a 2-man group to run into, especially with an ambush.
Yeah, but if he can get that Fire 3 off, not that he tries, but that Fire 3 will wipe the floor with them. Yeah, Will Cleosis in chat pointing out that the Papa might be looking for the Power Gauntlet. I can see it. With the Power Gauntlet being an incentive item, though, it's just the Ruby.
Worst item to get in this flag set. Literally leads to nothing. Other than, well, it could have. Technically, there could be something good in there, but...
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things, if Papa gets... gets the bee in his bonnet to go hunt down that weapon somewhere.
That Opal -1 made it worth it.
Yeah. I mean, the Ruby is still good for a little extra experience.
Chat pointing out the Ruby would still be good if we didn't have airship. Yes, that is correct. You would need it to get to Sarda.
But yeah,
it could be locking something, and the Massa.
Alright. Papa's gonna still keep digging, I think, because, you know, if he can find something, a second weapon, that'll make that 2-man stretch out a little bit longer. But that Masa is going on that night, and it is staying there the rest of the game.
I'd take a vanilla Masa at this point.
Yeah. Alright, so he's getting out. He's going to use that free house he picked up from Mermaids, and we are probably finally going to see an orb lit before the 50-minute mark.
Meanwhile, wildham's been taking these Agama fights. He's up to level 18 on the black belt. Looks like he's trying to go solo.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The Agama are going to go down to a black belt past, like, yeah, so he's heading for 6, 132. Yeah, once he crosses over into, or I guess it was, whatever. Once he crosses over to, like, the plus level 22 line, that black belt should probably be able to take those Agama down relatively easily. And if that red giant, like I said, has a friendly HP/script, that black belt is going to very easily mop the floor with them.
Now, do you try to leave the white mage up so you have a life caster and you don't have to walk this out to res and then go to carry, or do you just take your levels and go?
Well, I think in this case, you want the white mage to live.
Yeah, now definitely.
This is yeah. Wild really should have thrown that ruse up. Oh, you hate to see it. I think he only got like 2 fights between saves, so.
Looks like he's going back for that grind, though. He must really want those levels. He is aware of the sandworm fight, but we didn't see if they were one-punchable, or I missed if they were one-punchable.
They're one-punchable.
They are one-punchable, okay.
Yeah, I think they had at most 150 on their HP, so that is one-punch territory, even like where he is now. But yeah. Fortunately, he's catching a few wild peed encounters on the way, or as they're lovingly referred to in some sectors of the community, the EX peeds. I feel like at this point... Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. That's the best use he has of those quakes. I almost actually no, I take the back. I almost wonder if he'd be better off trying to throw confuse on those enemies instead of trying to quake them.
It's at about a 1 in 4, it looks like, on average.
Ah, that's a ribbon +3. just tosses the opal helmet out the window.
Yeah, I think I would do that.
So that is exceptionally nice for PapaFoiz. So yeah,
Papa is definitely in a good position right now.
Yeah, Masa plus a ribbon +4 plus the spells he's got stacked up on that red wizard. He's in a solid place.
I could see him just going for the walking grind if he has, or at least if he finds a defense sword, I could see that. You're a little bit safer with that. Go into Topher, just peek it, see if you can do it at a low level.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna keep, I think, popping these chests open, because... Well, actually, no, he's not popping chests. He's solely looking for a grind tile at this point. He could have iced 3'd them, but doesn't have any charges of it. So, waters, for the folks at home, are actually vulnerable to ice, not lightning. So that ice 3 would have probably obliterated this group. But he's still going to go ahead and fight them, get some delicious elemental XP out of the deal.
Did he pick up life 2 on his knight, or was that knight learnable?
Let's see, what slot was it in?
According to our tracker, it's in slot 2.
I think that might be red. That might be locked from the knight and red mage. Yeah.
Okay. Tracker pointing on chat, DVS pointing on chat that it is locked.
Yeah, it's the 4th slot that knight and red wizard can pick up. So. Yeah, so Papa is on his way to Kraken 1. Wildham is continuing to try and deal with these Agama. Has his black mages down. His black belt is still standing.
Gets a experience dump on that black belt. I wonder if he's going to continue to take this, or if he's going to make a safety save. DVS pointing on chat, save. I would save, but he might be thinking he's behind and needs to risk it. But man, these things are hitting like a truck.
Yeah, that I do not agree with this play from him. Like I said though, he is one-shotting these Agama now that he's broken the 22 line, but yeah.
He's got to be just breathe, clear it. You know, go somewhere else. Do the sandwiches. Do some different dungeons.
Yeah, and that is sort of the like I was saying before. What Wildham wants is a 1 or 2 enemy encounter for precisely that reason. Yeah, that encounter's delicious, but it also has a 4-to-1 advantage in terms of actions on a black belt, even if it doesn't ambush you. But that little rumble there means we have lit our first orb of this match at the 51-minute mark. Almost 52-minute mark.
So, little time for the people in chat that may be joining us. We had airship on wildham side at least at the 5-minute 55-second mark. So we're almost at the what would that be, 10x mark for the first orblet.
Basically.
I'm breaking the Twitch math rule.
See, I didn't even listen to the numbers you were uttering because I'm trying. I don't want to accidentally check your math. But Papa, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and dive into air, which I like it. He's got the firepower to deal with it, and he gets a T-Rex.
Yeah, I don't think he's been hard resetting. If that were off the hard reset, I would say he had a grind. But
well, if we see him immediately cabin and reset, we'll know that was off a hard reset. But yeah, so the encounter table in this desert is not bad for Papa. Like if he does decide to go for a grind, it's looking like there are dinos aplenty and not the ones that we don't like.
I'm guessing that he is just going to grind his way up on taking counters as he goes, and maybe we'll see the early Topher. Just go for it. Yeah,
well, if he takes most of the fights he's seeing here, he's going to be flirting with level 30 before he leaves. And with the scaling we're seeing and the equipment he already has, high 20s, early 30s, you're going to beat most Tophers that are out there. So while it looked like went back for a little to do a little bit more of that grind, I didn't see if he was able to walk his experience out this time.
No, he wiped again, or he reset out before he wiped.
Okay. You hate to see that, but so that Thor Hammer and that Zeus Gauntlet are going to do work on this encounter.
Guards, the encounter you want to take. Sentries, the encounter you do not. Usually.
I've seen some fragile sentries before, I've got to be honest. But
and I did not know, apparently they're robots, so they're immune to death. They're immune to almost every instant death spell, correct? Or if not all of them.
Well, there's no such thing as instant death immunity in this game, first of all.
Well, yeah, there's the 3 and 256, but I should say they resist. They don't have any vulnerability to it.
They're still vulnerable to zap. Nothing except chaos resists the time element.
Okay.
And Warmech, I think, also resists time. But aside from those two, you can always zap them. But yeah, I think
they do thing Quake the guards. It works well, so maybe they're vulnerable to Earth.
Yeah, now I was gonna say I'm pretty sure they are definitely resistant to death and poison, but yeah, that does leave Quake open, and that does leave Zap available.
And chat saying Quake is a lie. I don't think Will. One of you has lied before, and one of you hasn't. So I think Will clarify if that was a troll or not.
Yeah. Papa not even checking the greed chests. I think with that Masa in hand and a ribbon on that knight, he is satisfied with what he is doing. All right, if Will is saying he learned it from Artea, then I 100% believe him. Artea, he's been kind of out of the scene for a couple of years, but actually, I think one of the main innovators in the two-man strat that Papa's using. I know at the very least he was the first runner I ever saw lean heavy into the two-man, and definitely proved its efficacy in terms of being able to go fast, even in the face of like black belt strats. So, an interesting coincidence given what we're... Ooh! Papa's gonna take this. I like it. Gotta throw that white shirt up. Not that bold a move. The fighter's got plenty of absorb, has that ribbon on, and he's got that white shirt.
He is less than 600 health. The only thing I'd be worried about would be a nuclear.
Well, let's see what happens. Very spell-happy war mech. And a war mech... Okay, so he died. He died. But he's learned a lot just now. He knows that there's a nuclear out of the pool. He saw one of the level 3 elemental spells. He saw fast. He just learned there are a few things in Topher he doesn't need to worry about.
That, and if he did get his evade cap max, which not going to happen with the white shirt, but if the defense sword were on the table, that war mech a little bit more doable, assuming he doesn't have a swirl or not another nuclear and with a nuke.
Yeah, well, we didn't see any nukes. I think we saw a Fire 3, a Fast, and... Was that Fire 3 or Fire 2 that came out first?
I didn't catch it. I know I saw Fire, I believe Fire 3 at one point.
Yeah, we definitely saw one Fire 3. And I'm sure that chat can help us out here. By which I mean, help us out, chat! Yeah. Papa, unfortunately, with that red mage stun, not able to just throw a fire out and kill these slimes for some delicious experience.
Is it fire that only metal slimes are vulnerable to? Is that the only spell other than non-elemental?
I think... I don't know if it's the only, but it's the most effective. Alright, Space Drake clarifying that, yeah, it is only fire, so good call on that. So... But these are... these metal slimes look like they got a little bit of meat on their lack of bones? Also, Link Shot, our resident spell expert, one of our spell experts in the community, chiming in that all of the automatons, the robot-type enemies, and the golems, basically, resist the death element. So, thanks for the heads up there.
Yeah, I learned that when I tried to quad X them. It doesn't work.
Yeah. So, Wildham, unfortunately, it looks like a little bit tilted at the moment. Just because, he had those grinds not work out. It seems like he's had a couple of dungeons just not go his way. Trying to figure out his way forward.
Maybe he forgot about the Sandworm? I can't imagine he forgot about him, but maybe it's possible.
He's going to go check the grind. He's going to go check the wizard tile, I think.
Maybe he's just praying for a 4-eye tile or something at this point.
Well, he knows that's the B-sides at this point, because the Mad Ponies being that tile, that's a B-side.
3-eye.
But yeah,
okay.
It's a 3. You can remember because it's just like everyone's favorite band, 3-eye grind.
3rd-eye grind.
Look, I already fumbled the joke. I might as well utterly screw it up instead of almost pulling it off.
Yeah, just 2-eye blind, the famous band 2-eye blind. You only have 2 eyes.
No, you have 2 eyes. I don't. So.
Well, I'm not gonna comment on the avatar picture. That's a little too personal.
Nah, it's one of those things. I am actually blind in 1 eye, so you can't make 2-eye jokes about me.
Fun fact, so am I.
Oh, nice. Which side?
Left side.
Hey, same here. So there you have it, folks. Fiend of Pubsession and I, not allowed to walk side by side because we cannot see what's happening to our left.
A lot of people in the left eye, it looks like.
Yeah, it's It's weird. I never actually meet anyone who's left side. It's always right side when I meet someone who's blind in one eye. Papa?
Meanwhile, found Gray Shark, which may be friendlier? Question mark.
At the very least, it can't go worse. Oh, actually, it looks like they might not have that much health. Alright, Wild, I think, is going to give this a go. Remembering that you can't quake aquatic enemies. So, what you were going to say, Fiend?
I'm guessing he's just hoping for anything at this point. So if he found this, he's gonna go for it as many times as he can. I don't know if he would come back here for it. Like, I can't see walking down here again to take it, but I could definitely see taking it since you walked all the way down here.
Yeah. Gonna go ahead and try to drop both of his mages. I don't hate it. The only thing that he might want to be doing is, instead of going left and right, he needs to be going up and down. Because he can catch an encounter on that off step, going left and right. But if he goes down, he'll be on the bottom of the room, and so he's guaranteed to only be seeing the forced encounters, and not seeing random encounters if he does the
door on the bottom of that room?
I think it's I think that the wall is what dictates it, not just the door. Okay, DVS saying, okay, so you two might be right. But I could have sworn it was any of the bottoms, and not just bottoms that share a wall with the door.
Meanwhile, we have Papa headed. Where's he headed?
Earth, it looks like.
Probably going straight to punch out Lich. Can't imagine he'll open any chests, but he might still want the defense. I don't know. I would personally, but if he has the white shirt, so.
Yeah.
Of course, these runners, knowing how early the airship was, might be thinking this was a sub-hour seed and might just be waiting for the other one to dot done. I mean, you always have that in the back of your head that this was early airship seed, sub-hour seed, and I made all the wrong decisions. Even if you really did make what we see as the correct ones.
Well, okay. We did have the airship early, but all of our progression was a bit painful to get to. Like, Pop and Wild both saw how rude those waterfalls and the waterfall and ordeals were. So it's one of those things. There may be in the back of your mind, you know, that you did run in, that you could be behind, or you could be thinking, okay, I've still got a shot because my opponent had to walk through the same dumpster trash fire I did.
I was thinking maybe if you're Papa, you think, you know, wildham took his black belt to 42 before he went to ordeals, had, you know, near ribbon MDef or ribbon MDef, just, you know, it's been just one punching everything. That's what I always think. Of course, he doesn't know what party he has. It's not like they had a pre-agreed party, so he doesn't know that he has a black belt.
Well, with the popularity of black belt strats, especially among newer runners, I can see Papa at least making that assumption. But so here's the thing. PapaFoiz hasn't actually seen much in the way of grind tiles. So he might not necessarily have that thought in his head of, you know, well, wildham, you know, must have done his grind already. Because from PapaFoiz's perspective, wherever that grind is, it's probably not convenient. And as we can see, the grind that's working for wildham isn't very convenient.
Yeah, it's been rough for wildham. Hope he finds a, you know, quick. Hope he gets to that magic level soon and can start breezing through.
Yeah. So with these flags, I'd say a mid-30s black belt should be able to carry.
To answer the question in chat, he had about 4 or 5 wipes already in his grind, so he's lost a fair amount of time.
Yeah. So Papa has lit his 4th orb, so he will probably be stopping Canaria to resupply. And then we will see if this Topher is going to give Wildham back all the time he lost.
Yeah, I was gonna say Topher's the equalizer. We don't know what Kraken 2 holds. Obviously, what comes to mind, but I've seen some nasty Tia 2s that have been the gatekeeper. Kraken sometimes goes down, then Tia 2 is the gatekeeper, so we'll just have to see.
I always pull for the Carry 2 gatekeeper just because Lich very rarely demands respect, but Carry demands respect just often enough to where you can't take her for granted. And I like seeing seeds that do that. But we are about to clear the black orb and travel 2,000 years into the past.
Note to the tracker. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Note to the tracker: if you marked the Earth orb, it's not showing up on the stream yet.
Yeah. But PapaFoiz breaks into Topher at about a little shy of an hour and 8 minutes, so
that's a good time. Anytime you're close to around an hour entering Topher, I think you feel pretty good.
Yeah, and Wildham's stream has apparently started to suffer some technical difficulties. So, but hopefully we can get him back. But in the meantime, we can at least talk about PapaFoiz. So, pretty much, Papa's already through the early part of the... So, alright. I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. So, probably for the 2-man strat, some of the worst places in Topher are going to be those early floors before the slab, and water floor. Simply because those are floors where you are seeing somewhat dangerous encounters that have a lot of monsters in it. Just because the action economy is not in your favor, and it's very easy for turn order to at least force you to do a lot of healing. But,
he capped his health potions before he came in, correct?
I think so. I think he at least stopped in Canaria, so I assume that he did. But he does also have plenty of shots of Cure 4 to go around.
Assuming that Red Mage stays alive.
No, the Fighter also has Cure 4.
Oh, does it? Okay.
And Life. So the Knight is going to be able to pick that Red Mage up if the Red Mage goes down, but both of them also have the ability to just dump healing into their party.
There's your gatekeeper, opening nuclear.
Yeah, no, like I said, Carry 2. Ooh, and that is a sturdy Carry 2, too. Not taking much damage. That is a Knight who is mid-20s with a vanilla Masa. So, Papa hoping for Carrie to roll low HP, and it looks like she had, what, about 800, 900?
Yeah, that's around vanilla, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think vanilla Carrie has 800.
So Papa happy to be through that fight. Of course, still has 2 more that he hasn't seen that could Who knows? Who knows what's in store? We'll find out.
Yeah, but yeah, I saw that Papa did restock his heal potions. I saw he was in the high 90s when he started curing everyone up. He's now in the mid 70s because cure potions only heal you for 30 HP a pop, and that's a lot of bottles.
I just realized he only has 613 health, so that's not. That's kind of low.
That's fine. That's fine. He's got plenty of armor. He's got that ribbon to protect him from the elemental damage. The only thing he's worried about is the non-elemental effects.
That's what I was thinking. Two max roll of anything. You got 18 life left.
Yeah, but you also have to keep in mind the fighter is second only to the black belt in their magic defense growth. Like that knight is still packing a good magic defense on his own. That being said, this Kraken is packing a good.
Yeah, that Kraken slowed him, so he's one-hitting him one hit at a time.
Yeah. Okay, I did miss that's the slow too, but I mean, yeah, this is whole day and pray territory. Gets the Cure 4 out, and immediately gets nuked. So good timing there.
Was that 380 on the nuke?
Yeah, that was close to max. Getting that Cure 4 out, I think he's got one more shot of that level 3 magic to pick the red mage up with. So he is crossing his fingers that this Kraken 2 is about to go down. It's going back. It's there's so many lit 2s in the table. It's hard to. If I'm not paying constant attention, it's hard to keep track of where he is in his spell list.
Is it 8 for Kraken for the spell list?
Well, we shuffle the script, so we don't know which script he's using. It doesn't look like he's got one of the skill. Oh, never mind. There's a skill, so he's got one of the scripts that uses spells and skills, but gets through it. But yeah, stuff like that. Like you said, that's why we refer to Topher as the Great Equalizer, because sometimes Kraken just does that crap.
Sorcerer's normally not nearly as dangerous in the randomizer. In vanilla, of course, they would have Death Touch, and that would be a very scary encounter, but with the skills being randomized, very unlikely that they have that skill.
But, actually, we do have randomized touch attacks on for the tournament, which means that instead of there being one Death Touch possibly in the pool, there can be multiple Death Touches if the dice rolls just are against you. So Papa has used his last life spell on that knight, so he just has to hope that Tiamat doesn't immediately murder his red mage. But fortunately, the red mage does still have that Cure 4 in his arsenal, so...
Tia not hitting too hard, even with, what was it, only one ruse cast?
I don't even think it was a ruse. Well, actually, I guess the fighter might have thrown a ruse out there, but he's definitely gotten 2 layers of white shirt out, and a lock thrown down to help out, and that's enough to make it hard for that Tiamat to land punches on the knight. And that second lock finally makes it so that the knight's attacks are getting through.
Still only 5 hits for 232. Had a couple crits in there, it looks like.
Yeah, this is definitely a sturdy Tiamat, but that turn order worked out well for Papa. I wasn't happy seeing him use one of his last Cure 4s on the right there, but I mean, it was the sensible thing to do. He needs that red mage up to temper up that fighter. Because
do you white stack before you temper?
You should have. I think that was his first shot of ruse, so he may be able to just ruse up the. Yeah, he's got 1 shot of ruse on the knight. He's gonna go ahead and throw that invis out.
Hence
and chaos leads
neutral. High nuke roll, but still fortunate.
Follows it up with one of the Internable Lit 2s. Goes ahead and takes a swing. He's gonna want to just burn all of as many tempers as this red mage survives to cast. I think he's got 3 left. Okay, that's doing a bit better. So, yeah, the three layers of invisibility that he's got on that knight, that should be good enough to keep Chaos from doing too much damage with his fists. And Chaos has the rub. Alright, so this is our last temper, which is good because that red mage is not looking too sharp at the moment. He's going to go ahead and start throwing locks on. That's going to increase the fighter's hit rate even more.
Chaos with all the death magic. He was definitely happy to have that ribbon. We had a Bane, we had a Rub, and we had a Quad X come out.
And that is the Chaos getting murdered. So that is going to be an official racetime.gg of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 57 seconds for Papa. I think that's about on par with how he did last night. And Wildham has unfortunately opted to forfeit and will not be joining us for an interview. But I do believe we will be seeing PapaFoiz in here in a minute.
Were you able to drag him in, Woat? That's not something I'm able to do.
Yeah, no, he can just come on up. But he'll be here in a minute. He probably is just... There we go. PapaFoiz, GG. If you're trying to talk, we can't hear you.
Oh, I don't want to hear you twice. Well, thank you, GG.
GG.
So... You are continuing to demonstrate the efficacy of two-man strats here in the pod.
It's good strategy.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's to see it in use because, yeah. So let's see here. Let's think about some of the stuff we saw this seed. A lot less exciting in terms of just interesting things that happened. This was you just kind of followed the seed where it took you. But all right, so Fiend mentioned this a little bit ago, and so this might as well be a good place to start as any. So when you saw that early airship, and then kind of ran to those difficulties in the waterfall and in ordeals, did you feel like you were behind?
It's hard to say. The Zap nuke is real fun, but I don't. What happened in the waterfall? I don't remember.
I think you just took a. Actually, no. I don't know if you did take a wipe in waterfall. It might have just been Wildham.
I think the Mud Golems was the Mud Golems that might have been Wildham. I don't remember.
Yeah,
They
too much going on.
I didn't die. I wiped in Sky Castle and like 3 times in ordeals because Zap is amazing, and I had no ribbons. And then they had nuke too. I was like, well, this is fun.
Yeah, you got some unfortunate ambushes. Wildham did see the same ambush on the first try, but he did make it through his second. I believe you were there about 3 or 4 minutes longer than he was.
Yeah. The big difference maker, though, I think, so the Grey Worm tile on Armory Floor had the Red Giant Agama encounter today. And Wild went for a Black Belt grind and misjudged basically the ambush rate and just how much damage that formation can pump out in a single turn. So he took several unfortunate wipes while attempting the grind, and it kind of put him behind the 8 ball, unfortunately.
His best grind, he did get very unfortunate with, I think, 6 crits. He got hit by, so it was not a good round for him that time.
Yeah, so he ran some difficulties there trying to get that black belt online. Did at least have the benefit of, he did the black belt Oreo, so he had those 2 black mages to throw things around. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about that early spell list, Papa. Was there any temptation to maybe re-roll and grab a second mage just to hold all of that magic?
No, not really. I mean, Quake Warp level 1, and then I took Invis 2 just because, but then I found the white shirt, so it didn't even matter. And then level 2, there was, I mean, I was never like, oh no, I wish I had a second, another mage caster, because I didn't really think, like, level 2 wasn't phenomenal. Level 3 had Cure 4 and Life. And level 3 had, like, Fire 3. I mean, it wasn't... The only thing that was sad was fast as level 8.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things, there's just enough utility in those first couple of levels to where I was like, it is a bit unfortunate he can only learn 3 spells, but I guess that kind of gets back to the philosophy of the 2-man strat of just ignore everything that isn't immediately of use or directly in my path.
Yeah, I think the interesting aspect for me for this seed was that I really couldn't find anywhere to grind, and I didn't even recognize that it was B-side tiles. I'm like looking for a single eye, and my routing kind of went to where I could hit all the high value areas first, and thankfully the quest line kind of turned out that way, so I did pop, and then I died 83 times in ordeals. I mean, only 3, but it felt like Garland yesterday. And then I could do sea and then sky, so I just kind of like grinded as I went, because I never found a good tile.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out for you. You had just enough levels to skid through that Kraken 2.
Yeah, slow 2 is a hell of a spell.
Yeah, non-elemental, single target. It does work when it hits, and it hits way more often than I think anyone would like.
Now, you and Wildham both made an interesting play for Marsh. What was going through your head when you did that?
Oh, if it's not the canal, then I don't have to do Ice Cave. If it's the canal, I'm just resetting out. I wasn't there. I was just there to see if it was the canal or not.
Okay.
That's kind of why I went backwards, and I got the item at Crescent first before I got the airship, because I was like, well, if this is the ship, then I know I have to 50-50 for whatever that item is.
Makes sense. There was another question I had along that same line, and I've immediately lost it. Never mind. Yeah. No, I've got nothing. I had something, and now I don't. Yeah, so when you are looking for a grind, with the 2-man strat, this is kind of half for my own curiosity and half for the benefit of folks who are watching the VOD later. What kind of a grind are you looking for? Like, are you looking for, a fight with an encounter with a couple of enemies? Are you looking for something with like 3 to 4 because you do generally keep both of those characters alive for it, so you have a little more firepower? Just kind of what is the criteria for a good grind for that party?
I try to go for like a 9 enemy, low health, kind of like Medusa's. The slimes were like ridiculously high health this time, so that was a no-go. If you're doing like 4 solos, I always try to find anything above an Agama. So like Ankylos and above are what I'll take. So like Sandworms, Red D's, Thighs.
Speaking of Sandworm, there was a Sandworm that Wildham found very early in Locked Temple of Fiends. He didn't stay there very long, but is that an encounter that you would have considered?
Oh, yeah. Well, I found it in the desert.
Yeah.
I found one, and it was low health. It only had like 165 health or something.
Yeah. Now, the Sandworm was on the Gargoyle tile today, so...
Well, son of a gun, that would have changed the whole... the whole business. Yeah, the Sandworm gives like 400 more experience than the Agama does, so it's a good one.
Yeah. Then, well, I think I can't think of really anything else to kind of talk about. So, y'all ready to kind of go ahead and wrap it up?
Final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, Papa, what you got for us?
I feel bad. Wildham was every time I practiced before this tournament started. Every time Wildham joined, I was like, "Well, I guess I'm not winning," because he beat me literally every single time, probably 15 or so. But Danny did Danny things, and I again got fortunate that the luck of the two-man party was on my side, and sorry that Wildham had the bad luck, but.
So was this so this was your second race in pod, right? You still have Spoom or Shoom to deal with?
Yeah, me and Shoom Bobby are racing. I think he's trying to confirm. I think we're going to race Tuesday.
All right.
I'm trying to convince him to do 3 thieves and a white mage, but I'm not sure he's going to go for it.
Well, if as long as y'all race at a good time, I'll probably just jump on that broadcast too, round out all 3 of your Medusa pod races. Yeah, Fiend, what do you got for us?
Well, again, GG to Papa, our winner today, and Wildham, our 2 racers. You can follow them in chat. That link is up. Our commentator, our tracker, and our restream, or not our restreamer. What am I? Finish me out, Load. I'm choking here.
The broadcast team. Follow the broadcast team. Fiend and DVS did an excellent job and deserve all of your love. But yeah, throw follows to Papa and Wild. They did their best to entertain with a seed that had some wrinkles in it, especially that we didn't get to see a katana.
No, I really wanted a katana too.
I mean, we both know it was going to be a -5 katana. Don't worry.
Probably.
Although, if you feel like digging around in the seed later and letting us know whether or not that would have been a good katana, feel free. But, yeah. Thank you, as always, to SpeedGaming for having us and letting us take up some time on their channel. And thanks to everyone here for watching, offering your commentary, your unnecessarily long string of magic-related puns. Those of you watching on YouTube, you lucked out. You don't have to see them. But speaking of the folks watching on YouTube, feel free to come join us over on the Discord. A lot of our community members came to us through YouTube. I think Will Cleosis, who was here earlier, the infectious one included. So you absolutely should come hang out with us if you're here watching us live. Links in chat. Come join us. You'll find out when all the races are. And if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to SpeedGaming for more video game racing action. But there's gonna be more Final Fantasy Randomizer here too. I think is there some Final Fantasy Randomizer happening tonight? I think we got one more race on the docket.
I'm not aware.
I'm looking now. Yeah, we got a race starting in about 20 minutes over on SpeedGaming 2, actually. Chadbert versus Rod Draven over in Podpede. And Sledge versus Krellin are racing over on Randomania 3 right now. So you've got plenty of Final Fantasy Randomizer action to go hang out with. So yeah, we'll see y'all there. we'll see y'all tomorrow and every day until this tournament is done. So, I think it's gonna do it for us. Fiend, Papa, DVS, I'll see y'all on the flip side. And take care, chat.